What's up YouTube? My name is Chris. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you clicked on this video, that means you're here for one thing and one thing only. You're here to take a look at the next generation headset by PlayStation. This headset is the Pulse 3 wireless headset. And basically what this video is going to be is my initial thoughts about it. I've had this headset for just under about a week now, probably about a week. And so I just kind of want to talk to you guys about it. Granted, everything in this video, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because all this testing that I've done is using the PS4. Obviously, this headset is meant to be used with the PS5, but since I don't have access to the PS5 yet, this is just kind of giving you like an overall gist of basically what to expect if you are looking at getting like these headsets, because they are roughly about $100. They're $100 US, so it's not something cheap, and it's definitely something you kind of want to have information about before we start. So that's what this video is going to be about. So with all that being said, let's just jump into it. All right, so basically point number one is like the fit, or like the look of it, the aesthetic. So with this headset in particular, obviously it's a plastic, you can tell just by looking at it, and it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like it's going to break on you. It isn't necessarily the heaviest duty kind of headset that I would say, but it definitely has that quality kind of feel to it. And if you're used to headsets that actually have a strap, this one has its own strap, but it's a little bit different than what you might expect. It actually has this rubber kind of plastic bit to it. For me, after kind of using it for a week, it did start to kind of get a little bit of annoying when I was actually playing a little bit more longer sessions. You know, I have thicker, coarser hair, so it would kind of get a little irritated just rubbing up on it. But it's not necessarily a big deal if you have hair that isn't as thick, or if it's just something that honestly you probably won't even notice after using it for a while. But in the short time that I've had it, it's just something that I noticed. And basically, to show you guys what it looks like when it's on, this is more or less what you're going to expect. It's a pretty standard headset like fit. I will say my personal preference is I think I have a little bit of a bigger head, so it isn't necessarily like as comfortable as I'd like it to be. And I will say that that kind of does affect longer play sessions. Like it kind of feels like basically right here in the muffs itself is actually where I can kind of feel like it's actually putting a lot of pressure, as opposed to like my other headset, which is a SteelSeries like Arctis headset. Those are super comfortable. Honestly, after playing for a cool minute, I actually switched back to those just to see, and honestly, the SteelSeries headset that I have, I kind of like that a little bit more better than this for like longer gaming. If you have a smaller head, something like this might actually fit you a little bit more better than it does for me. Another thing to note is you actually look at the earmuffs. When I was playing, I was actually starting to get a little bit hotter. So if that's something that you're constantly running into with your headsets, if you're worried that something like this might actually have your ears, you know, sweat, or your head just get hot in general, that is something that I personally ran into. Not so much with my other headsets, but it's because this is a different kind of material for the headset itself. It's like a faux leather. I personally am not a big fan of faux leather, but that's just kind of what the material that these are made out of. But it does feel a little bit more cheaper, but also it just seems it's a little bit more firmer, and it's not as soft or like as comfortable as other faux leather headsets that I've had or that I've tried. This is just something kind of unique to this headset, in my personal opinion. The next point that I really want to talk about is the sound. Overall, for $100, this is about as mid-tier as you would expect. They aren't the most amazing headset by any means. They aren't even close to being horrible. They're right in the middle, which makes a lot of sense. If you're getting this headset, you're getting it because you love PlayStation and you like story games. And that's kind of the point of this headset. Granted, I've done all my testing with the PS4. You know, I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which isn't necessarily the best sounding game. If you've played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I played Spider-Man, which sounded pretty good. I also did a little playing like God of War. Sounds pretty good. But when I compare it to like my SteelSeries headset, that sounds a lot more warmer and it sounds a lot more bassier. The one problem that I kind of had with this headset is it sounded tinny at times. Especially when I was playing multiplayer games like with my friends, just hearing them themselves, everything sounded like it had a little bit of like a higher pitch to it than compared to when I had my SteelSeries headset on. My next point is basically the biggest problem that I have with this headset, and you probably will too, is the mic quality. PlayStation, they did something a little different here. Okay, so they went and they put the microphone inside the headset. It's hidden, so that way you can't actually see it, unlike other headsets which have the extendable mic that actually come out, so that way they're closer to your mouth. I like the design of this headset, but that's where the problem lies, is because it's internal, it's actually really, really hard to kind of pick up your sound, your voice. And I was playing Modern Warfare with a couple of friends, and they were actually telling me that I genuinely sounded almost as if I was like in a box. And after hearing it back like a playthrough, I can definitely see what they're talking about. And that's something you genuinely need to consider if you are looking at getting this headset, especially if you play more multiplayer games than anything like that, and being able to talk to people in your party so they can actually understand you basically makes a difference between winning a game or losing a game. So I went ahead and just recorded a couple different variations so you guys can actually hear how it sounds using the headset itself.
I start coughing right off the bat. Okay.
Rona.
Yeah. All right. So right now is a test using the PlayStation headset using party chat, and I've been able to hear everything pretty well. It's not too bad. It's nothing amazing, honestly, like after playing with it, but then again, this headset is meant for the PS5, not the PS4. But for the most part, it is pretty good. Everyone that I've been playing with, my friend Austin and my friend Steven, they both said I sound a little weird, like I'm a little boxy. So hopefully you guys can actually pick that up in this recording. Okay, right now I killed all audio in Modern Warfare, so now in this recording, it should just be just the microphone, just by itself as is. And overall, it's pretty easy to set up. You just plug it in and turn it on with the little adapter. So pretty simple, I'll say. But Austin, after hearing me for like an hour, you say I sound pretty boxy?
Yeah, so what I'm hearing mostly is, the best way I can describe it is you sound like you're in a box with your headset and you're talking. It's the best way I can describe it.
Okay. So hopefully you guys can understand that and hear that. Right now, I'm going to do a quick switch. I'm going to go back to my Arctis, my normal headset that I use.
Back to the SteelSeries. Audio still killed, so hopefully you should get an idea of how it sounds. Alright, so how do I sound though? Okay, so with this is my old headset, the one that I normally use. Do I sound better? Let me adjust this. Okay.
This, you sound louder, but it does sound almost like, it's loud, but it's almost like too loud.
It's almost too loud? Okay. Alright, so this is using my SteelSeries headset. I would say like it feels more comfortable using like my SteelSeries headset than the PlayStation one after the while that I've been using it. Doesn't feel as hot.
All right, you want to know whether or not this thing is actually worth $100 and you should spend your hard-earned money on it. Well, let's recap. The style, it looks cool. If you like PlayStation, it's something to fit the PS5. If that's your aesthetic, definitely recommended in that sense. The fit itself, if you have a bigger head like me, it's probably not going to feel as comfortable, and especially if you run a little bit hotter, your ears might, sweat, which can happen with certain headsets. That's something to consider. Third, the sound, it's not necessarily the best in the game, and it's not bad. It's definitely average, mid-tier, and the mic quality itself is not great. There's no way to sugarcoat that. Stay away from it, at least if you're planning on just getting it for your PS4 until the PS5 comes out. By then, there'll be more of these headsets already ready to go for the PS5 and a lot more intensive reviews when it actually comes to the PS5. Before we end the video, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an example so that way you can kind of understand it. Let's take a look at Call of Duty, for example. Call of Duty goes on every single platform. It goes on Xbox, it goes on PlayStation, it goes on PC. That's a pretty great game. Most people are going to play it. If you're watching this, you're probably going to play it too. This headset's not made for that. This headset is made for games that are going to be specific to the PS5. So for example, Spider-Man Miles Morales. If you're going to get a game like that, this headset can utilize, or is at least meant to utilize, everything and all the sound that can be created for that game. Spider-Man Miles Morales is catered specifically to the PS5 and can utilize everything in this headset. Call of Duty can't do that because Call of Duty has to make sure that sounds great on PC, which they don't have any next-gen audio utilizing this headset. Xbox doesn't have any next-gen audio utilizing this headset. So you're just going to get an overall game that has sound in it. Whereas if you're going to play games like Spider-Man or Demon Souls, where the devs are going to specifically account for headsets like this and basically just the 3D Tempest audio engine, which you don't have to have this headset for that. In the beginning, at launch, you need this headset to experience it, but eventually PlayStation, they are planning on rolling it all out for like TV, surround systems, soundbar, stuff like that. So if you love PlayStation and you love being immersed and you only play single player games a lot and not so many multiplayer, so should you buy it on PS4? Probably not. Save your money. You could probably get a better headset. Should you buy it on PS5? If you like to play single player games and mostly Sony games just in general, yeah, I could probably recommend it, but we'll still have to wait that week to actually know for sure. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I helped you guys either save money or make a purchase that you're actually happy about. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. I genuinely appreciate it. Drop a comment down below telling me whether or not you actually got this headset, and if you have any other questions about it that maybe I didn't answer in this video, I will absolutely respond to each and every single one of you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.